Tomorrow we are having a traditional friendship with the Saksang village, Saksang village, Patsuro town. Today it's called Patsuro town, but in those days, it seems one of our ancestors went there and named the village called Tekuba. So to renew that friendship, we are practicing today. Actually, this song is not for any other thing, but during the Tekrani festival in May, last of May, we celebrate the Tekrani festival of a youth festival. It's kind of a youth festival. So we sing this kind of songs. This practicing is Shino is a lady. She went to another village, actually, and then they were asking. Some people are in the background. Some people are asking what her guest gave her, and then she was telling that her guest cooked a rooster or chicken to her. So. Some songs those are songs for youth. Some are love songs, some are something this and that. So, but it's a friendship. It's because of cultural. We have to give our own culture. They have to give their culture and show us. So we are practicing these songs to show them.
Ido amar Nagaland, Naga Kisa, eta koidebo. Before British Empire and Christianity. Amar Baba Bochubilak, Ido various time de, Ido Manu, Ido Amar enemy logde fight koidagise. Ido homode, Ido shell do donegena, Aru Ido chati logena, Kidia Tosman lokoribo, Ido homode, Ido logde hanibo. Hanigena, Taubra, Mada Kadibo. Ido Madado, Loe Chagana, Amar Poside, Ido Rakibo. Ido Magudrone Rakigena, Loe Jabo, Loktram. Itu Matadi Lakagena, Actum, Ido Festival, Hogina, Kan Kuregena, Itu Pucha Kurage. Itu one, Itu Homode, various plak Kiniga, Kan Kurise, Itu Lagame, Kando Quedibo. Sorrow. Nous sommes qui tombant non si oui oh ne son ne non manco dans non nous courons non si tenons penjon de sont de 내가 아말 고마노 마노 라가 마타 아니고 이도 various 남 디세 이도 거네 달라가 이도 덤고 이도데 hornbill tails도 쳐야 가지고 만에도 various 라가 쳐서 마노 라가 마다 나가til에 다 various 라가 hornbill도 라가면 나게 Aru achi moebe ade eto sena lupu amar lupu bile go abuna ki ko na jane me eto lupu eto be various laga se eto various no mane eto laga bana eto gando laga bana bo ede ame various se eto ne sob eto laga se eto kota 1947 de ami master काम करिছে এটো সময়ৰ পৰা আমি folk song do এটো আমাৰ grandfather do এটো folk song folklore এটো সব জানা মানুহ তাইছে যা আস্তে আস্তে আমি তো হজিছে আমি খ্রিস্টান আছে এটো খ্রিস্টান এটো সময়তে folk song do এটো folk song do kurile edo hill dicha bobule kose etke bare folk song do kuribole tiada Christian blog do halebe ami aste likise likigena chuma kurira gese amar au manodo edo poila asomya mano nisna akor tagis amar roman letter nisna na itu amar be script to tegese itu chamra de likise kukur he kaidese itu karone itu amar century after century itu ni mukos bra abuni bra ami hekabo Amibra, itu amar coklat hekabo. Nikiboledo nai, najane. Enega tegese. Itu karena amar bhavana to hoise, kiye chaise. Itu mode kiman kan tegese haraise. Haribe etia manugan kiman cuma kurese. Itu olap sulap itu likibo. Itu likigina rakitile. Ektin amina takilibi, ama keset pin panaginasa. Aro ame itu drama be tuida panaginasa. Itu amar aims and objective hoise, ame etiaki likirakitise, amar all over Nagaland, the short tribe laga kolbudase. Oi! La suete pele ena yo.
For a Naga, you cannot learn your historical accounts just by way of chit-chatting or by reading a book, because there's no book. The only way you can learn one section of a historical account is by learning a song, because it's in that song. Now, a Naga song would carry two items. One is the historical account as it is, and then there's a slight twist which is in addition to the historical account. There's sort of a moral quote. So when people neglect such things, you forget your history, and you tend to not realize the moral quote that has been in practice.
The easiest way to remember again is through songs, which is passed on from one generation to the next. So Nagas as such has, I would say, historically sound and very strong in music.
Naga society cannot go without music, whether it is in the church worship or even in the Didori live, even during the festivals. Without music, there is no Naga societies.
Oh narujina kune.
O narose zingimati.
Tolomagu narujina
kune.
O yomen yushine bla tierla majenziline.
O yomen yushine bla
tierla majenziline.
tierla majenziline.
O kim la nur yon zirang bon lei.
O kim la nur
yon zirang bon lei.
yon zirang bon lei.
O zong se ren zan ne yi song dong long de ru on de ben yu ne.
O zong se ren zan
ne yi song dong long de ru on de ben yu ne.
dong long de ru on de ben yu ne.
Ane mungu yu obo bijin saba mulon de merani.
O ane mungu yu bo
bijin saba mulon de merani.
bijin saba mulon de merani.
Hey oh ya oh hey, holo yo ya hele, hele yo ya hele.
There is certainly a big need for, let's say, collecting and preserving Naga music, the old and the current day interpretation of Naga music. And a lot of people are getting very interested in it in terms of understanding our own migration stories or the way the societies are structured in the Naga society. And let's say Lothas have a lot of songs associated with how the clans are structured, or let's say who are the enemies and how do you go and let's say date a woman or a man. You know, how do you go and entice them to come to you when you go for working or fishing or hunting? How do you do that? So those ones are carried through generations. And in my tribe, among the Lothas, if there is one song, I think it's there is something very nice about Lotha folk songs. One is there are two levels of singing a song. One is almost like half singing, half reciting a poem, like that, and then only after you recite it, you sing the song. So a lot of people who actually learn to sing Lotha folk song would have to learn that the other aspect of kind of reciting the song itself in a half singing, half reciting way. The other aspect is in terms of, let's say, challenging each other through the song. So I would come to your house, and instead of talking to you, instead of debating to you with you, I would sing a song to you, and then you would sing back in your response or answer. So I think that's a very nice form of dialogue, and a very nice form of competition also. It also, brings about a creative aspect in the folk music level.
cocktail, orange rose, among hey oh, hey oh, hey, hey oh, hey oh, hey, hey oh, hey oh, hey, holo iyo ya hele, chikalo zongovana, mengilo jotinga. Terrochilo jorole, hey oh, hey oh, hey, hey oh, hey oh, hey, hey oh, hey oh, hey, holo iyo ya hele.
Dormitory to sab koribo, kheti laga bi dormitory te kore. Love song bhi tate kore, war song bhi tate kore, eto festival laga bhi tate kore. Tate para hai training institute ase to. School bhi nai, baba khan time te, church bhi nai, aro eto hikabale eko facility nai, dormitory hi ase. Tate sade koribole kinaka niyom para sade kore, eto bhi tate hobo. Manu murile ki ritual dalibo lagibo, eto bhi dormitory. So dormitory te hai eto. Takhan ki bisa kobo, bacha khan interest na thaka hoise. Kile mane takhan dormitory nai, kheti na jai. Aur festival bhi school te jabo thakibo, college te thakibo. Eto para hai eto ek generation para ek generation Gana aru tradition to hara jai ase to. Chakasan Baba Khan na, eto foreign, eto Burma para aha first time te hole, tai khan het hunting thakishna, eto time te Mata Khan het hunting lora bole, eto chokora khan to dormitory rakhiga na tate jomai thake, takhan war na thaka tamte ganna kori thake, modo khai thake, eto par takhan to ganna to eto par he ulaise. War ka to eto kora to nagala ganyo masana, eto koribo, koribo, kori thake na. Eto koribo, eto piche de Theri jesere ho, je khalo ho, enaka hakati she ho, matha kati she ho, chuli kati she ho, enaka na ho korege na, eto kore.
Zonale, che o kemero tore, re sa zo je ta yole to te ane to ane
This is called the tati. This tati is the one-string instrument of the Chakasang Naga, which is one of the many tribes in Nagaland. This tati is made of mithun horn, and this one is made of the gourd, bitter gourd. The name tati comes from the sound it makes. It goes tati. So maybe we can show you how it goes.
Ta ti ta, like that. Tong ti ta. So it's like that. We call our music Li, and it's in traditional Chakasang dialect. And our Li is about interpretation of love, death, themes, and different emotions. We like to keep our Li original, and we're proud to be representing Naga folk music. And once in a while, we also try to adapt, depending on the crowd. If it's a live performance, we try to keep it a little more peppy. Li is something very interesting for the rest of the world, and they find it exotic and original, and people are warming up to the idea of traditional stuffs being cool. Most people don't even know where what Nagaland is, which part of India or like which country. Some people even ask which country is that, and they also tell us that okay, if this is the kind of music we find there, we wonder what the people must be like, what kind of culture they must be practicing, and they want to come to Nagaland.
Okay.
You like it?
Really?
Especially this.
Yeah. These are really old photographs, no?
What belly, sir? Look at that.
1918.
Not wearing anything, you know, just a small wrap around below the abdomen.
They go to fetch firewood from the jungle. Kongyaks are very talented in their handicraft, beadwork.
So this is the only collection you have, or?
This is a very few collection we have here in Dimapur. The main one is in Mokokchung. It's worn at the back, no? Near the Tao.
Near, to beautify.
Yeah.
And the sign of a warrior. Like when they do warrior dance and all, they put this and
Only the konyak.
Yeah. It's worn.
Lower wear, men's.
Like cricket, you cover, what do you call that? That part, that sort only.
And this one you can see, no? This is the money, our currency.
Currency?
Yeah.
Chapili.
We call it chapali.
So like there used to be the barter kind
Barter,
of.
Yeah.
Yes.
How much is this worth? Like used to be any.
That I can't say. Be modern, it could be original also, we don't know.
So this is like a hunter who's carrying heads?
Yeah. He's proud with his killings.
These are like human heads?
Nagas,
Yeah.
Nagas are known for head hunting.
Now it's totally different. We don't kill anymore. We are civilized, but that some norms like if we are from the same clan, we cannot marry. That we still maintain. Suppose I'm from Uzakam clan, she's from Minchin, that we can marry. But I cannot marry a woman from the same clan, Uzakam clan. Those are still taboo.
If his villager killed my villager, then we are not. It's taboo. There's no blessing if you marry a girl or a boy who attacked each other's village. Well, we do our own brand of music called Hoe, and it is a blend of Naga folk tunes with modern music. We incorporate something from our ancestors. You know, like ever since time immemorial, our forefathers used to chant Hoe, Hoa, Hoe, Hoa while doing work or dance during the festivals. And it really used to ease them and give them lots of energy. So we have incorporated this with our music. Basically, we are from Ao, so we have a lot of things from our own Ao background. Like sometimes we use expressions or words like, you know what we people generally use, like aya, ayako, or hoy. And sometimes again we have that cry, you know, like so it is used. It used to be used during you know, war or to call on the people for any occasion.
We need to preserve the pure form of folk music because that is where our roots are, and we cannot let the roots die, because that itself is a foundation for our present as well as our future. So I think by any means we have to preserve our roots, which is the pure folk form of songs, and to make it present and presentable and attractive, we need to add these folk elements into the modern form of music. Well, this is the Bam Hum. Why Bam Hum? I'll just tell you the name first because it's a unique name, so you might be wondering how Bam Hum. This is made out of bamboo and we hum into it. I created a gadget, or you can call it a technical thing, which I've named it rattle. So I put a rattle here, and this rattle, when we hum, converts the hum into this sound of the Bam Hum.
This is something more wears.
Here. This is the wild boar teeth, and this is very old. It was handed down by my forefathers and given to me by my mom and dad. So you can say it's as good as around 200 years.
Yeah.
So
you can see from it that the teeth are very huge.
According to the sayers, this is supposed to be a good luck charm. So I think it is. So far it has been very good for us.
And it's been traveling around the world.
So wherever I go, this follows.
itu mua kanto itu pian hoy nichi mimsap tradition nichi pana ase kintu asul Naga music no hoy itu sub mix hoina halingana ki kore hoy pala ase kintu titil bi rakhibo lagi to tar time di moi matigana kanna korbote tar seidi sab halingana ase kintu dargan to palu korbo no pare tar dijum bi na pare ini British laga style laga music ton haligana Korea ase kintu asul do foreign di ini ka tikhali amagan nagamano inagan nohi to itu do nohi to asul do kintu tar di ni do panana motive Korea ase ki koro kaubi laga ki haligana ki kanabi gori dar itu nohi to asul do ini ka bol lagi nagamano ini ka ase ini ase koina itu baba time di cassette pi aro video bi ekho taka nai achega le ahigana moi 1984 bara cassette haligana ite video de bodli korina hali ase kintu moi kana delibi youth kandu thik palo nokori apuni ngan cd sabe amar sound nishina no lai ekdam kana korado murum kurala kana alak ase to war laga alak ase to konguta laga alak kana hoi to itu daran etiadak pal kuri tik notore kintu moi to 100 ki 80% to pare baba kan lak chunglim di nor subu musmeo ba kangadan ni ne chungle yimdi kungnu 몽당하야 만에 얼살랑 빵농 너정드망 선든 항남 너정드망 선든 나요 성름 금을 옹왕라당 자게 암독 암세 원에 전즈보 kallam mangda 전즈보 kallam 다요 오롱 사고 만노 염롱 성아 뚜든 항나 오이 오이 오이
মই খানতো অৰিজিনেল হে এটো নাহাৰা বনিমিতে এটো কৰি আছে একটা বি এটো বদলি কৰিবলে নাই আৰু বদলি নকৰে খালি অৰিজিনেল বাবা খান কি নাকা গাইছে এটো হিচাপতে আৰু গ্ৰেছ বি এটো বাবা খান কেনেকা চলাইছে এটো হিচাপতে হে চলাই আছে মই বিয়া আছে কইলে তাই খান বিয়া পাব কিন্তু প্ৰেজেন্ট ওয়ার্ল্ড তাই খান কুৰাটো খুশি পাব বি পাৰে কিন্তু মই খান ট্ৰেডিশন তো আৰু তো মই খান লাগা কালচাৰ তো ইনাকা হইলে তো আসল লাগা তো হারাব না
মিক্স আপ কুৰাটো এটো আমাৰ ভাবনাটো হৈছে কিলি লিখিছে এটো আমাৰ আও ছাত হলিবে আও ছাত লাগা কান্দো সেপাৰেট এটো জানিব লাগে আৰু তাতে আও সোশিয়েল কালচাৰটো বনাব আৰু এতিয়া ডান্সিং সিঙ্গিং কি অলপ এক্সচেঞ্জ কৰি আছে এটো মানে এটো নলেজ এটো আন্ডাৰষ্টেণ্ডিং আৰু পিচ among the people এটো কাৰণে অলপ তো এটো হেকালিবে পেয়া নহয়
Drink, drink, cool, 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 sao bé bông soya. Drink, drink, cool, cool, yang bông se, yang bông ne oh, yang bông so, oh yang bông ne oh, yang bông.
why we are doing folk music is because we have heard our parents, sing folk songs, and now when we fuse it with other kind of music, people get interested and they go back to the roots again. Now, when they want to know where the music is coming from, for instance, we have a plan to go to all the villages and record the original folk music,
Yeah, keep it
thereby
alive,
thereby preserving the original folk. And like I said before, I don't think there is a clash really. It rather intrigues our imagination, our interest to delve into folk music more. That's what I feel. That's what we feel.
And then what we make sure of doing when we do the fusion thing, we make sure to keep the originality, and then of course we edit some, but then we make sure not to add our own style of folk, but then we make sure to keep the all folk thing, and then there we put in some English lyrics, according to what was written before. So that's how we do it. So we are preserving the old culture as well. We definitely feel that we have already taken the tag ahead, by unite the tribes of Nagas, because Purple Fusion, what we are doing is like, we are not just, me being a Sanctum lady, I'm not just singing Sanctum song. I am even singing Lota, I'm singing Au, I'm singing Angami. That's in our first album that will be releasing very soon. So things like that, and then both of them, they are from our community. He's from Lota, I'm from Sanctum, So in a way, I think we are already playing a big role in uniting our people, We generally try to investigate first, the real meaning, and after that only we do the fusion thing,
It's kind of hard to really pronounce, some words. She's a Sanctum and it's hard for her to pronounce some Lota words. And we have had some arguments as well at times. But yes, we mug up the lyrics. We try and understand what's behind the lyrics, what the stories, what the storyline is, and thereby, in the process, getting to learn the language of other tribes as well.
At the moment, I'm teaching mostly Western classical music, but at the same time, I know the importance of learning our own folk music, our own traditional music. So that's why we want to emphasize a lot in that area. And so we have a course right now called Introduction to Ethnomusicology, as well as another course called World Music. And in both of these classes, we teach them folk music of different kinds from around the world, but also our own Naga folk music. This thing called fusion that we're seeing a lot among young people right now, I think it will develop. Music is something which will grow. It'll grow into different styles we may never imagine in the future. But right now, I see this trend among our young people. They appreciate, they're beginning to appreciate their own traditional music. I want our people to understand their own music better. Only then they will be able to develop. They will be able to know how to develop. Right now, we have only a vague idea. We hear some folk groups singing in the villages, and we just copy their tunes, and we're using it. But if we really analyze it, research on it, and then develop, I think it's going to be a
Music is also rooted to a great extent in the way we live and the way we work. So this is one area where rooted music is also an encouragement, and that is where we are also looking at music as, you know, as Naga fusion music, which can have contemporary appeal, not just designed for festivals and things like that, but can be heard throughout the year. And there is no absolute end to the type of the concept of Naga fusion, basically because each society is, as much as you say Bhangra pop and things like that, Bhangra in itself is very vibrant, but once they added on the other percussion quality to it and made it more vibrant, it became another internationally accepted. So this is one area where we feel that we have immense opportunities, and I think sooner or later, hopefully sooner, we can have a brand of music that is sort of noticed.
You don't really have to take a proper study course, you know, if you are to do traditional music. But one thing you should do is, if you are going to, for instance, if you're going to incorporate a certain tune from the Angami tribe, we should go talk with the elders, talk about the origin of the tune, the meaning of the tune and everything along those lines. Because right now there's this very popular tune, which is like Sohi Mojo. Okay, so traditional music, it's not just Sohi Mojo. It's way more complex, it's way more diverse than that. So if you want to experiment with traditional music, then like I said earlier, we have so many different tribes, so many different tunes, you know, with so many different meanings. So I think you should broaden your horizon, you know, try out other tribes as well. Go, like I said earlier, meet the village people, and then learn more about it, and then only incorporate it in your music, whether it's in tune with your kind of music, whether it's in tune with the meaning of your song. my dad's main vision and goal was to bring indigenous music, Christianize it, and then use it to worship God instead of worshiping nature, because that's what our forefathers used to do. So the piece which my sister played earlier it reflects my dad's vision when it comes to that. And he also had a deep passion for peace and unity and uniting the different tribes of Nagaland. Back then when he came up with the piece, we had 15 tribes. That was in the late 80s. Now more tribes have been added to that. But yeah, this song is, the piece is pretty much based on that. So all different tribes have different folk tunes, you know, different meaning to it and different origin. So it sheds a light on all those different elements, and then it tried to put it together, also mainly to symbolize the fact that we are a multi-ethnic culture and everything, but at the end of the day, we are still one state, one people under God. So that was my dad's vision, and that's how the song, the piece, came about.
Anything that sounds can turn into musical instruments, so long we put in a proper form and play in the right way. So our instruments are mostly made of bamboos. They prepare plants like the wild seeds. Examples like this is the wild that we get it just available everywhere. It's a gul mohor seed, and then which we make a very good percussion music out of this. We have collected one tune from the Simi tribe called thread spinning song. It's a very the popular song among the Naga tribes. The song says, I will weave my clothes, I will weave clothes for my father, for my mother, for my sister, brother, uncle and auntie, and also for my friends, with varieties of threads. And I think music can be a uniting factor for the Naga people, because as a matter of fact, there's a lot of understandings and misunderstandings between the tribes, and then also, there's sometimes the problem also, which I cannot express in a very short period of time. But when it comes to music, music is a source which we can use as a weapon to bring peace in a land, in a community, and especially among the Naga society.
So music is still a very unifying factor in Nagaland. We have 16 tribes, all different language, different food habits. Everything's so different, and yet music makes us one. It's evident. Probably we are the only one in the country that has, where its political leaders believe music is the strength of the youth, and they must be encouraged. And therefore, we have a music task force. We have an MLA who sort of heads that. We have a full-on office. So things looks very good. Of course, we are not where we want to be, definitely. But for musicians, I can say as a musician myself that we are not where we used to be, if not where we want to be. I think our niche has to be something that is our own, if you want to sell out there. But that's yet to take place. I'm yet to see bands who are very interested in that. They still feel rock and stick on the covers and things like that. But it's changing.
I would want to think that when you do something like this, like a folk song and something from the West, maybe contemporary, jazz, rock, or even choral, it is something very new and unique. So the good news is you will have no competition. And the other good news is it's good that people are experimenting. And it's not a bad news, but a danger point could be, since these two are very strong elements and totally different, putting them together, sometimes it can sound very disjointed. And I think I've also heard that in a lot of artists, to be very honest. I appreciate the effort, but it has to be done in a very subtle manner. That way the blending becomes very spontaneous and natural. It's fluid. It's not forced. I myself, as a composer and a musician, I've struggled trying to put these two together because these are from totally different worlds. Especially for me, being a classical musician, I'm trying to use Western classical harmony and trying to blend it with Naga folk song, especially Chagasang folk song, because I am a great fan of it. But now these two are from different worlds. Now how do I put them together? And of all the songs that I have done, I think only out of maybe 10, only 2 or 3 are good. When you do something like this, then you are paying respect to your roots. Just to give you an example, I mean, I don't think a tree or a flower would bear those beautiful flowers that we see if we cut off the roots. So I think for a musician to grow, I think you should always stay in touch with your roots and try to do something about it. That way you could be a jazz musician, a classical musician like me, or a gospel singer. But if you do these things, then it makes it very special. And I think we are all born with something inside the heart, and that has to come through. And music is the only way where we can somehow bring that out for people to see and hear it. The Naga folk songs that I have worked are mostly from the Chagasang tribe. And why? Because it's very beautiful, first of all. Secondly, I think it can somehow blend with Western harmony, the chords, very well. Supposing I have a song called a progression, something like so this is a very usual, common chord progression. Now you can sing a Western contemporary song by I bless the day I found you, I want to stay around you. A song by the Everly Brothers, and you can use the same chord progression and you can he your hair, veset zola, he your lo handy jorine. See how it works. So that way you have to keep trying and you have to find ways to bridge these two. See, it's all about, see the harmonies usually what we use, the harmonies that we use in Naga folk songs are usually very open as in we have fourths, perfect fourths or perfect fifths, which are not so commonly found in Western music. Western music, the harmonies are mostly like thirds or sixths, they would call it. But now what I've tried to do is maybe I still keep the melody, as in like if it so hi mojo sono diole, which is the main melody line from an Angami folk song. Now if I were to use the exact harmony sung by people from the village, then it may sort of clash a little bit with the Western chords that I'm using. So I would somehow twist and turn the harmony but still keep the melody line. See, for me, what I would, that's why earlier it used to be just my song and folk music. But not everyone in the world will know my song because I am Nisemerno, I'm an Indian, maybe confined to the country and maybe the state. But now if I take a song that is so common, say Can't Help Falling in Love, sung by Elvis Presley and the likes, and if I use that song and maybe bring in a folk, then that becomes something that people can relate to. Supposing Amazing Grace, everybody knows Amazing Grace. They know it as a Negro spiritual, they know it as something maybe because as a soul gospel piece of music, a hymn. But now I've also used the example, Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. So what I do is I've used the text, and it's in my album by the way, so that say the like me, and it goes on and on. As I've used the same text and I've composed a very Naga folk melody which goes Amazing Grace, ahai, ahai, how sweet the sound, ahai, ahai, the save a wretch, ahai, ahai, like me, and something like that. So it has a very upbeat tempo. So I think this is something that might work very well.
A certain element of dilution is there, but I would see it in a positive light in terms of this artist trying to be creative in their musical talents. And in creating this kind of fusion music, there's a market for it too. So it does help, let's say, spread Naga music beyond the borders of Naga area.
In fact, over the 3 or 4 years, I have seen an awareness also and the need to go back to our roots, because I think there's nothing new that we can do with Western music to show, but I think there's so much of things that we can actually take from our side and show it to the people, the rest of the world, So I would say that, and yes, Naga folk music it's so varied, and because there's so many, not a single tribe, every tribe has a different, it may look the same, but there are very subtle nuances, to it. So in terms of material to work on, there's still so much of untapped material. So, if we can explore that, definitely there would be a new market or a new genre of music.
Itu mane mix pure rakhile bi etu bi bhale ase, pure bi na harabo lage, और मिक्स कुरिया भी एदु ताखाने इबिने दूसरा जगह दे जाएगी ना मिक्स कुरेगी ना गादो बिसी बाल बाय आरो ताखान भी ताखाने मिडे टैलेंटेड एदु ताखान की एदु ताखान की बराबरे एदु बाला से आमी गाने एदु भावना से
Thank you.
we have had a very troubled history as Nagas, the extent of turmoil that our history has, but even in the midst of all the darkness that we can talk about sociologically or tribally or in terms of the war that has happened, even in this very place, I believe that God, actually the church, plays a very important role in how the healing process has taken place, because music and the church is so inextricably linked for the Nagas. And the songs of healing, the songs, you know, that we sing about in hymns or right now through worship, is bringing definitely a lot of healing in the hearts of the youth as well as the older generation. And you know, healing is a progression. It's not just a one-time sometimes, and healing of our emotions and our mind is not just an event, but it is a process. And I believe that as our music is getting richer, I believe that it's getting deeper and wider as well, and that it is playing that part. Nagas are known for their music, but in order to make a mark somewhere, I think it is our own music presented in a very world standard way, which is you know, not watering it down. We do know that it is we know where our roots are, but instead of watering it down, we are making it more digestible for the people to listen as well. And I think that's a very good thing, and I hope it doesn't stop. There's that fusion. If you call it fusion, it means a fusion of two cultures, and that means clothing, attire, as well as language. And so I'm very happy with my group. They're all tribes, different tribes. We have Angamis, Chakasangs, and you know, Lothas, Changs, and they're happy to do any type of song. We sing all types of songs, and so that's the uniqueness. I believe that more and more so now, our youth are more liberated in their thinking, and the boundaries are there, but they're not so stiff about it. They're not so concerned with, oh, if I sing and Ao sings an Angami song, oh my gosh, I'm losing myself. It's nothing about that. It just speaks about how socially we are also changing and accepting of one another.
Unfortunately, in the tribal societies in the country, the folk traditions are confined within their domain. For example, a certain practice is confined to one village. And there are so many practical issues where you cannot reach that village to acquire those practices and traditions that they have. So what we try to do is we try to gather experts, go into the village, because you cannot take the entire community from a town to the village. Some experts go into the village and extract it and bring it to the towns or cities. So in other words, it's not, we are not demeaning, or it's not about how ineffective they could be, but it's a matter of bringing the folk traditions to the city. And the medium of teaching is not different actually. The way you learn, which is orally, you try to learn orally as well. But there is a step high above that one. We try to teach our students orally as we learned. And what in return, we try to do is we try to transcribe it. We need to understand the intention of people involved in fusing music. Like there was someone who said fusion music is actually very confusing. Similarly, see, people come with various intentions, even locals and even outsiders. Their intention sometimes, in many cases, you will find out that it's not for a genuine quest for development, but it is just an effort to get some extra ideas or borrow ideas. In such cases, actually, they are just harming the folk traditions.
Hello,
You go to the church today, you hear the same Western sound. So in other words, of course, the Western music has reached a very high level. But whilst doing that, the traditional elements has taken a back seat. So my point here on why the desire and a need to use Naga elements is this. See, it comes from a patriotic point of view also. When someone hears a Naga choir singing, we want people to understand, oh, that's a Naga song, not a Welsh tune sung in Naga text. So I mean, those are reasons why we need to evolve something so that the identity is maintained. This is one generation that has finally realized that you cannot do something constructive now at the cost of something else. So of course you can play Mozart and Beethoven, but not at the expense of your identity, not at the expense of your heritage. Why not combine Beethoven and your heritage? If you want to enjoy Beethoven, enjoy it, but not at the expense of your forefathers.
Somebody should give the beat.
I think it's better.
So we'll follow her. Both of us will follow her. So this is again a rain song. Yeah. Oh, it's raining.
See, and then
I think it's raining because we sang the song in the morning, no? Yeah. Shall we?
Nake nake, zuke nake, hafura kayang rosa ko metalo.
Penaying rosa ko metalo.
Hafura kayang rosa ko metalo.
Penaying rosa ko metalo. Nake nake, zuke nake, hafuro kayang rosa ko metalo.
hafura kayang rosa ko metalo.
Penaying rosa ko metalo.
Penaying rosa ko metalo.
Hafuro kayang rosa ko metalo.
Hafuro kayang rosa ko metalo.
Penaying rosa ko metalo. Hoy! You know what, guys? The song that we did just now.
Yeah.
Do you know where it's from?
No.
No,
I was
right?
just wondering what track it is, yeah.
It's actually from my mother's village. It's called Pangti. Pangti is a village just above the famous Doyang River, in Bokha district.
Okay.
So this song is about rain. It's basically calling the rain down when there is no rain, when there is drought. Okay. Yeah, no rain, no water for cultivation. So amazingly, it's raining tonight. We sang this song and it's raining. So I think there's some truth behind,
Maybe there might be
the story behind the song.
Yeah, yeah.
Nake Nake, that's wonderful.
It is doing wonders for
It
us.
is doing wonders.
Thanks for
Anyway, I hope
letting
you
us
like
know.
it.
Yeah, it's really nice.
You like it? It's fun, huh? Yeah. Thanks for occupying all the room, by the way. Half the room.